Manor Lords is no longer the same city building game you might remember from the demo that was available for everyone to test out last year, because the preview version of the early access that I got to play courtesy of the publisher Hooded Horse is a much better but also a much harder version of Manor Lords. Okay, so I did play with more demanding and higher difficulty options, most of which weren't even in the last year's demo, but the amount of micromanagement and gameplay knowledge necessary to get off to a good start was above my expectations. This is banished level of complexity, people, with Unreal Engine graphics, real-time battles, and a stunning atmosphere. And I must say, I'm loving it so far. More gameplay is on the way, so just follow the link up here and in the description for new videos. Now, when I'm talking about micromanagement and gameplay difficulty, I specifically mean getting a high enough approval rating to be able to grow a village with new families. Because there is no expansion by procreation in Manor Lords, the only way to get new workers, new families, is to encourage them to immigrate by having good living conditions medieval style. This means access to drinkable water, edible food,
meat so tender it practically melts in your mouth,
a place in which to thank or blame God for everything, firewood to keep warm, and some clothes to cover up all the smallpox scars with. The developer and publisher even provided a short beginner's guide with really good tips and instructions on how to play, but even with those, I must admit that balancing the needs of the first 5 families in my village and the necessary buildings to grow this village took me several attempts. And you are probably wondering now what exactly was so difficult with such basic requirements. Well, if we set aside the weather-destroying tools left out in the rain too long, or just flat out constructing buildings in the wrong order, then it is the family system. A system that is in fact one of Manor Lords' defining features. The one part where it works in a great way is when you give a family a job of, let's say, firewood making at the appropriate building. One family member will do the actual firewood cutting, while the other one will set up a stall at the market to make this good available to the rest of the population. They even have specific voiceovers for each of the goods they have on their stalls, and you can hear these in both overhead and third-person camera mode.
Come one, come all. Feast your eyes on our fine selection.
Leather, perfect for boots.
Now, despite the fact that you start with 5 families, which is 10 people of working age, you only have 5 actual workers to give tasks to in many different buildings. But it gets worse, because one has to remain free to move building material, just wooden logs and stones at the start, and actually do the construction task. So you end up left with 4 families to do logging, hunting or gathering, firewood cutting, to work at the granary and storehouse, to be the priest, to tan hides, to turn logs into planks. I just named 8 jobs for 4 workers. Now, what's the catch? Well, my dear gamers, the catch is you need all these jobs done, so you have to manually rotate the workers you have across all these workplaces continuously until you spend half a year of in-game time increasing the approval rating above 50% so that new families will immigrate. If you can reach a 75% approval rating, you can even get 2 families to immigrate at the same time once per month. This is the part when the game finally takes off, but it is also the point when you can start upgrading homes to higher level, the artisan level, and bring in a whole new set of requirements for which you don't have enough workers for. I do admit the core of this kind of gameplay is not too far from what it was in the demo last year, but now that the developer has implemented more of the gameplay, the true scale of required micromanagement has become much more obvious. Do note, this is only close to the version you will be playing on the 26th of April, but it is the general direction of the gameplay. I don't know what were your expectations for Manor Lords gameplay, but do tell me down in the comments. I was surprised by it, but it was a welcome surprise in my case, as I enjoyed this level of micromanagement very much. One more thing that surprised me, but about which I wasn't happy, was when the brigands from a camp in a region right next to my own stole half of my leather supplies. This leather was key to keeping my villagers happy because it was the good necessary for them to find at the market and make their own clothes from it. These camps of brigands are an option you can turn on and off, so you can choose if you want to deal with them or not in your own playthrough. Another welcome element to the gameplay is the ability to browse a sort of an in-game encyclopedia or almanac about hundreds of gameplay topics. It is accessible by simply clicking on the question mark in any interface that has it, but currently it isn't very detailed or nice, and not all subjects are interconnected. You can click on a word to check its meaning, but some don't have a page up yet. The ability to walk through your own creation is still in the game, and I for one find it immensely satisfying. Seeing how people live and work in a town you built from a third-person perspective is another feature that gives the game a chance to show off its incredible graphics.
Summer's coming soon, and soon the beating sun.
You can use the Ctrl+C key to remove the UI and capture awe-inspiring screenshots. I played this at maximum settings at 4K and my RTX 4090 GPU was constantly at 70 degrees with fans purring like mountain lions. The weather effects are another thing that has been done masterfully and enhance the atmosphere when playing. This is one of the few city building games in which I don't mind the low visibility of night or rain when managing my population, as it looks breathtaking. Now, one thing that is very limited in this preview are the available maps to play on. There is in fact just one, which is divided into separate regions with existing interplay between them. Each time you start fresh, the game sets you up in a new section of the map, and this means not having the same distribution of basic resources or land fertility, forcing you to adapt and in the end create a totally different future city. There is some bare-bones diplomacy and, depending on the mode you choose to play, battles to fight. The progression system of developments, policies and production is only starting to be implemented by the developer, but from the options now available you can see these are there to help you make most of each unique city start. They are organized into branches and unlock one after the other, with sweet and bitter choices you have to make. The points to unlock these come with fulfilling set landmarks in the development of your city. I will show you that in future videos when I cover farming, trading, building your manor and all the other things that make Manor Lords so unique and such a wonderful experience. Thank you for watching and I wish you all happy gaming.